Welcome back, everybody. Well, with the holidays right around the corner here, you might be thinking, hey, I might go out and get a job and make some money during this upcoming season, right? Well, attorney Jonathan Frutkin is joining us this morning. He is the principal of Frutkin Law Firm, and he's here to give us some advice on how we should do this. Now, Jonathan, if I'm the owner of a small business and I'm looking to hire some seasonal employees, what should I be aware of?
There's really one main thing that I see employers do wrong over and over again, and that is not comply with this 1938 law called the Fair Labor Standards Act. And what this means is even when people are working for your business just for the holidays, you still need to treat them like employees, withhold taxes, and you still need to pay them overtime. So
oh, really?
You do. And so I see that all the time. People say, well, I'm just hiring them for a month or two. I'll hire them as a contractor. And the problem with that is when the IRS comes, those penalties are really, really big. And so you have to be super careful. Just treat them like a regular employee if they're doing what a regular employee would normally do.
That's important information to know. And again, from a business owner's perspective, when you're looking at a holiday season or any type of seasonal employment, you know, how far out should they be posting an opening for their position?
You know, they really have to do it earlier and earlier because that season seems to creep up earlier and earlier every year. Really, now is the time where I see most employers doing it, but those that are smarter did it a couple weeks ago. It's just important to get those people, the people who are looking for those part-time jobs, college students, sometimes mothers who just like to work during the holidays. It's important to get them because sometimes it's too late.
Oh yeah, and you know, and even though it may be, what, 4, 6, 8 weeks for that season, it can be some good money.
Oh, it
and
really is.
Yeah, and when you are the business owner and you're getting ready to interview somebody, what kind of questions should you be asking this person, and what kind of questions should we be avoiding?
Okay, this is generally true. This is just not a seasonal problem, but I see it with the seasonal employees all the time. There are certain things that you can hire or fire people because of. Things like the color of their shoes, or you just don't like them. But there are other things that you can't count. Whether they have kids, whether or not they're married, their religious preferences. And so sometimes I'll see people in the employers being a little bit more casual around the holidays and asking things like, oh, are you Jewish so you can work more days? Or
oh, wow.
Do you have kids so can you work these later hours? And those are real no-nos. And it doesn't matter whether they're seasonal employees or if they're regular employees, you still have to follow the law.
Well, and stay on top of your game, too, like you said. They're a little bit more casual, like, okay, this person's only going to be here for about like 6, 8 weeks and no big deal. And if that person who's interviewing for that position, if they know their rights and they know the law, there could be some major problems there.
That's right. Now, there's an exception to all this, and that is employers who are only seasonal. So sometimes you'll have like a ski resort, or you'll have a Halloween shop, or you'll have a Christmas shop. If you're open for less than 7 months of the year, you do not receive any revenue during the other 5 months, you may qualify as a seasonal employer, in which case you don't have to pay overtime. And so that's an important distinction that an employer needs to think about before they decide whether or not to comply with the regular law.
Yeah, no, good to know. And what if you are the person who's interviewing for the position? Are there certain questions that you should be asking and certain questions that you should be avoiding to the employer?
Well, the biggest question now is what sort of hours am I guaranteed? That's been a huge change, especially over the last year. What's important for an employee to know is they're going to get the number of hours they want, and sometimes in the times that they want. And what they really should be asking is, what is the policy as far as scheduling? Do you put it up a week in advance, and is that going to be set in stone, or do I have what are called call-in shifts, where I call in and maybe I have to show up or maybe I don't? And those call-in shifts are dangerous for an employee just because you may call in, you know, cancel your whole day, and then you don't have any work. So you should really ask about scheduling.
Oh, and if the person who's interviewing for the position, if they are very excited about this and they're looking to stay on with this business or this company, what are some steps that they can take to say, hey, you know, I want to be here full time?
Yeah, remember, I mean, the key to any job is showing your enthusiasm and initiative. And so just because you're a seasonal employee doesn't mean that you have to relegate yourself to just doing what you're told. volunteer to do the extra work. It might lead to a job later on.
Go the extra mile. So important. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.